Hey y'all, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm just going to show a quick kind of behind the scenes on this Dead Cities 2 animation that I just uploaded. It's what is it? It's like a short, obviously real-time animation made in Unity. It's a procedurally generated environment, so it's using some building pieces that I modeled in Magic of Voxel. So they're just these kind of sliced, symmetrical chunks. Some of them are not, they're like mostly square, some of them are not square, and then some of them have like a lot of negative space. Oh, I did a video on using Unity Recorder because I actually needed to use Recorder to get this output. That's why I have it open here. I'll upload that soon on the channel. And basically there's just a really simple spawn voxel buildings script here that just spawns a grid of buildings, enforces the spacing between them. Or here are the building prefabs, and then randomized vertical scale and randomized horizontal scale are kind of important here. That's what makes some of the buildings skinny, some of the buildings a little fatter. So we're just doing some scaling on the meshes as we spawn them. This is all stuff that I've kind of, aside from the randomized scaling, actually that's a video I could do on the channel, how to do randomized scaling. It's simple but useful. And so basically we're just generating this field of buildings, and then I'm spawning in these things. It's funny, I've still got the old names, the jewel pickup. This was from a VR project I did a while ago where you're like exploring this procedural city. I might actually do a video on that because it was kind of cool. I literally reused the building generation stuff from there. Here, it's spawning this, what I'm calling a coin prefab, but it's basically spawning these objects. If we go over to the scene view, here you can kind of see it's spawning. There you can see the frustum of the camera, and it's spawning these falling. They've got a particle system, and importantly, they've got a volumetric light attached. So I'm using this HX volumetric lighting asset. This is why I won't release this one on GitHub. Yeah, HX volumetric lighting. It's done by Lexi Dostal of the Hitbox team. Really cool graphics programmer, actually, who does a lot of really interesting, powerful graphics stuff. And this one's on the asset store. And it's nice. It's a nice volumetric asset that works in the built-in render pipeline. This is built in, not HDRP or anything. And then I added this light flicker, a little bit of noise on the light intensity to give it this kind of flickering effect as they're falling down. And then they're just falling down, and then the volumetric lighting is like playing between the buildings. And the camera is just like a really long, slow move up that's animated. And then eventually loops back, but by the time it loops back, the lighting has changed, so it's kind of almost feels like a new shot. And what I did was I combined this with a piece of pretty strange ambient music in Ableton Live. I'll play a little bit of it. You're gonna get some feedback in the speakers. That's okay. So So I did this before I did the music for Alias City 1, actually. This was kind of like a little start of a creative phase for me. And basically what it is it's like single notes that are being routed to probabilistic instrument racks in Ableton Live, right? This is Ableton Live. It's basically, there's a MIDI device that adds randomness, and then a device that gates out MIDI notes that are above a certain velocity, right? So we're randomizing the velocity and then cutting anything that's too loud. So it basically adds a kind of a random layer to how often notes are going to trigger, and you can control that. And then I've got this phase distortion synth, you know, some analog style synths, but it's actually just that. It's a bunch of cycling notes, a bunch of different devices kind of cycling, randomly firing off or not firing off, some noise washes. It was fun to make. It's, you know, kind of soundtracky, definitely a little bit like Blade Runner inspired. And obviously the visuals are also pretty Blade Runner inspired when we really when we really get down to it, right? But it was just a fun kind of generative project, making this audio video thing that's not a narrative. It's just a thing. I don't know what it is, but I had fun making it. So hopefully you found this video useful, interesting, provocative. I don't know. I will be releasing some more videos on the channel coming up. I released the animation for this, the full thing. It's like 4 minutes long. You can check that out. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think, if you find it cool or not. And I have some more kind of straight up video game style procedural generation content coming up. I've made the demo, I just haven't recorded it yet. I'm gonna do some stuff about haiku generation, which is kind of fun. So some generated text. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what part of all this you're enjoying, or if there's anything you wanna see more of or less of or anything. If you're finding the content to be valuable, please do consider subscribing and ring the notification bell so you can actually hear when videos are released. And yeah, as always, thanks so much for spending some of your time with me, and I really appreciate it. And I will see you